Alrighty, boys. I feel like I need to share this one with you. It's called the Ram truck's the best truck out there. Now what? No, guys, I just don't believe in one size fits all. I don't believe in one tool fixes every problem you have in your. If you're a mechanic in your mechanic trade, you guys follow along what I'm saying, right? The Ram truck is the best truck for me and what I do. I just keep seeing it in the comment section how these guys are bickering at each other, and they have no facts upon facts, meaning, hey, I've done this and this is what I've gone, or this is what, I've attempted this and this is what the results are. That's facts, that's experience. Yapping, you could yap at each other all day. Truth be told, a Chevy GM product, okay, keep it simple, a GM, a Ford or a Ram product, they're all great trucks, and what average Joe needs, they all do the job phenomenal. Okay, we can settle on that. It's all based off, hey, I like the way this one looks, I like the way that one feels, I like the way that one rides. That's all that it comes to. I'm talking about 1-ton trucks here with diesels, okay? They all do the job. Pulling your RV, your boat, that's easy stuff. Shoot, a half-ton could pull most boats out there. Got a story to share with you guys how this guy did 400,000 on his Tundra pulling like big boats. But anyways, back to the subject here so I don't go way off topic. For an average Joe, they can argue till their face is blue. Well, guess what? That really don't matter anything. It's all opinion and preferences. But what really matters is when you put those trucks to their true tests. When you take that truck off-roading. When you take that truck, the iGauntlet, with a big old gooseneck parachute load behind you. When you take that truck to 400,000 or 500,000, then be yapping or bumping your lips how great this truck or how great that truck is, I can tell you I got over 1 million miles in these Cummins trucks. I can tell you what those things are and what those aren't. I'm not saying I'm the guru of these pickups. No, I'm just saying Ram truck for what I do, and those new guys that don't know what I do, I buy 1-tons and I hook up goosenecks behind them and we haul freight. It's called a hot shotting. I'm trying to not veer from what a typical hot shotter does to what hot shotting really needs to be. It's hard. The line's getting smeared and certain approaches weren't done right. It's not approaches, it's the way people view hot shotters. It's not right. But anyways, back to the subject of what these trucks get used. You got weight, which is one thing. Getting weight going is one thing. Keeping it going is another thing. But pulling that weight in the parachute format is the biggest one. You're going to burn up your engine. You're going to burn up a lot of things. Let's just say 1-ton, single rear wheel, or dually, doesn't really matter. Get some heavy weight on it, but it's steel. It's flat steel. You cannot compare that with a same weight parachute load. And I'm talking about something like a big old, I don't know, like a dumpster, like them commercial dumpsters. And those aren't heavy. They're just really parachutic loads. I mean, I'm talking about something wide and tall. It's just not the same, Like, let's just say a guy's hauling 30,000 gross all day, every day steel. Your typical steel, nothing crazy. Nothing welded together, just a bunch of raw steel beams, plates and stuff like that. All day, every day. You could do that, no problem. Now, put 30,000 parachutic load, and I'm saying parachutic load because a load that is stopping you and has a great drag on it. A load that, does all this stopping with no brakes. As soon as you let off the throttle, you're coming almost to a dead stop. Try that. See how your Ram, your GMC, look at that, these guys are GMC fellas, are going to hold up. Put them to their test. That's what I'm talking about. Now, seeing what I've seen, and it's unfair to GM because I have minimal experience in GM. And when I talk about experience, I'm talking about I've personally been on a rig 3 times with a GM pull, and I'm talking in 2016, fairly fresh but not brand new. And one time I followed the temps really close, and they were getting pretty toasty, and it's like, what the heck's going on with this thing? Anyways, there's nothing wrong with GM. It's just it could do things that Ram can't do, and Ram could do things that it can't do. So all it comes down to, guys, just sober up and be real. Quit this nonsense kiddish stuff. Oh, okay, I'm gonna skip that comment, but just comparing stuff and talking smack that really doesn't make sense. Put logic into it. And all I'm trying to say is update your boys what I do, because some of these comments they're irrelevant, and guys are arguing almost over it. So it's like, really, put that 500,000 miles on that truck, and then start bumping your lips. Shoot, a gasoline truck could last you. I know GM makes some good Vortex engine, or Vortex, whatever. They have some good engines. Those 6.2. I mean, I got a 6.2 in my GM. What is it? A Yukon XL. It's a phenomenal engine. Boy, do you need a gas station nearby when you start putting your foot down its throat. You're not gonna get too far. But it's a phenomenal engine. We're talking about gas engines here. I gotta give it to GM. I'm way off subject here, but if we're talking gas engines, Ford, not a chance, man. They're 3.5 little dinky turboed engines. You're gonna haul with that? Yeah, you will. And then what? You're done. If you're hauling some decent weight that they claim, let's just say, keep this in mind. Let's just say Ram says they could haul 20,000 pounds with their diesels, and then they're saying 12,000 pounds with their gassers. That's what I'm comparing. So if Ford's saying with their 3.5 turbo engine they could do 12,000 pounds, all right, show me your 12,000 pounds and how long you could do that. That's what I'm comparing apples to apples here. Diesel to diesel and gas to gas. I still don't believe Ram has a decent gas engine out there. They don't. What is it? Some Hemi engine? Like, there's nothing to it. Let's say GM. Man, I'm so off subject, but might as well finish it. Like GM, that I personally own a 6.2. I can't say enough good things about it. You guys are gonna say, well, Paul, you just complained about the gas mileage. It is beyond ridiculous when I have my foot down in that 6.2. Well, guess what? Once I pull my foot out of it, it's perfectly fine. It's respectable. 18 miles to the gallon on the interstate, more or less on the quick side of driving, pushing, doing some good speeds, that's fine. So, I really it could touch even 15 on the interstate, to be honest with you guys. But as far as gas engines, I don't talk about them much. GM, definitely. The 6.0s, the 6.2 engines, those are phenomenal engines. You can't. Ford, Ram, you got some doings to do. Yeah, I'm hearing good things about that 7.3 gasser that's coming out, but I have no experience with them, and I haven't heard of anyone having any experience with those, because they still haven't made it to the market. I'm talking about 7.3 gasser, not the 7.3 diesel. So, to make a long story short, GM's the only thing we have right now. Well, for me, that's the only thing there is as far as that. All right, guys. I hope you get the message. I hope you get what I have to say. And anytime you hear me say Ram is the best truck out there, yes, the best truck out of the three. Excuse me. It's the best truck out of the three for me, but it's not the best truck out of the three. You got to decide what's best for you, and you got to decide what you're going to be doing with it. And slight hints. If you want a soft, smooth ride, skip the Ram. Ram isn't going to offer you. Well, if you do the 2500 here. See, that's the 2500 right there. It has the coil springs. Yeah, they're softer. They're better. So, I guess I could take that back. You could try the 2500s. Look into the GM. That's a GM right there. Good looking truck. But if you want a soft ride, if I were you, I'd start the GM. See if you like it. Try the Ford and then the Ram. That's the way I'd put it. Smooth ride, GM, Ford, Ram. Ram's the last one on my list. Now, reliability. They're all great engines, man. The only thing that's really hurting all three, and all three are pretty they're going to be prone to having problems with, is the after treatment. If you do not tow with your truck, if you don't put some heat and some miles on the interstate, you're going to have issues with the after treatment. A guy like me that only tows, and still, 300,000, those exhaust systems are done. They're clogged. But that's a story of its own. So yeah, where does the Ford fit in? Ford is like that sweet middle, I feel like, because we have a 17 in the fleet. It's a 6.7. I really can't say Ford's worse than Ram in aspect of reliability yet. An aspect of how well it's built or how bad it's built. Decent truck, they have their flaws. Nothing that's really out of the ballpark that I would expect. The only thing that Ford has as a negative compared to the Ram is the fact that it's a gas guzzler, diesel guzzler. It has a good margin of fuel consumption higher than Ram. That's all it is. Now, I know I've just talked about Ram, how better it is than Ford on towing. Keep in mind, the Ford that we have has probably about 100, I think mid-hundreds on it. Nothing crazy. So, I have my opinion, but that's not a fact. I want to see that Ford hit 400,000 or 500,000 doing what it's doing. I want to see my trucks hit 400,000 or 500,000, or I should say, I want to see the Ram do 400,000 or 500,000 and see how it does. I've personally inspected a few of those 400 milers, close to 400 milers. Yeah, you can't tell. They're starting to get a little sweaty, and what I mean, they sweat oil a little here and there, and I'm nitpicking at stuff, but it's solid engine. It doesn't show any signs of wear as far as the engine goes. Now, as far as injector goes, I have to admit it. 300,000-400,000. You need a new set of injectors in them Cummins. I don't know how Ford's gonna do. If you're not gonna change them, just depends how bad it is. But I would advise people to 300,000-400,000. I'm advising people to do something that I've been procrastinating on. I'm a bad person. I got to put that on the whiteboard. Get me a set of injectors for I guess 2 of them now. I got 2 trucks for the record, guys. I got two 3500 Rams with Cummins 6.7 Isons, and both of them are 2014s. One's a little right about 400,000, and the other one's a little under 400. I think it's like 360 or 380. Well, excuse me, 360 or 370, somewhere in that ballpark. But anyways, that's a story of its own. So, between all the trucks, I have over 1 million miles with these little pickups, and I know a thing or two about them. I'm not the guru of these pickups. That's not what I'm saying. But I have experience, so I can vouch for Ram and say that it worked well for me, and it's the best truck that I could get for myself. Because just simple thing of climbing hills. Ram climbs hills at low RPM speed. You're gonna say, Paul, good for you and your RPM speed. Guys, it's simple. The more that engine speeds, the more the engine turns, the more wear there is. The more that engine turns, meaning RPM, the higher the RPM, the more it turns. The more fuel it's gonna consume. Anyway you spin it, especially if it's an inline 6 compared to V8. You got 2 more pistons to feed. Anyway you spin it. Anyways, boys, that's it, man. That's all I have to underline, and that's it, And I don't want you guys to be misled and watching this video since I have all these Rams. That's the only thing that's the best thing out there. No, but for me it is. So, in conclusion, out of the big 3, Ford, GM, or Ram, for me the Ram's the best thing. But out of the 3, this is the best thing. But for you got to decide what you want. Anyways, boys, I'm going to get me something cold to drink. So, y'all have a mighty fine day, and may the Lord bless you. Bye.